City of Stevens Point Board of Water and Sewerage Commissioners meeting, recorded May 13, 2024.
Get this going.
We can begin.
Recording in
Yep,
progress.
approval of minutes of the Board of Water and Sewage Commissioners. We have two sets here.
Yeah, there's 2 months of everything.
Oh, not the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, of claims, I'm sorry, yeah.
The March 11th.
I can move for approval.
So there are not two sets.
Not of minutes, just because we skipped a month, but there will be 2 sets of claims.
Yeah, okay,
Yep,
that
yep,
makes sense.
Yep.
I will second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign, motion carried. Okay. Let's do Water Department, claims for both the month of April and May.
I just have a quick question on 58809. I think it's just a refresh. Can you tell me what goes into the IT benefits? When you look at 2023 IT benefits.
What's
I know,
the number again?
58809.
There must be one more number there. 588,
No. 58809,
there's 5 numbers.
2023.
Oh, I'm sorry, 58, okay, I'm sorry.
I just was wondering what went into that when you talk about IT benefits.
I'm assuming that is, part of the benefits we pay toward the, not the IT manager, but, the other employee in IT. Because, the agreement was made back when that was hired, that we paid half of
Oh, okay,
wages and benefits for that as a department.
okay, that's,
Yeah.
okay. Thank
Do
you.
we use half of the services for the city? Probably.
We're working on it.
Okay.
We're working on it, yep. Yeah.
Either we use not quite half, or we use way more than half.
Where we need half, we're working on scheduling that, yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Any other questions about either, April or May's Water Department claims?
The 58766 says the 2023 street improvement project. Is that the last payment for the 2023 project?
Yeah, so this would have been, on a monthly bill to include not only a street improvement project, but also our monthly things like, well, you see here, fuel, salt, everything that, so, as far as the street improvement project, was that the final? It should be, right?
That's the,
The
should be
water
there after
portion,
that.
yeah,
okay.
The city forgot to bill us.
yeah.
Late building, yep.
Any other questions? Okay, let's go on to sewage department.
Jamie, for the minutes, Alder Lang just joined as well. Yep.
No questions on sewage department for either April or May?
Not from,
Right, on to stormwater. Questions?
I had a question on 58834, 2019 and 2021.
Yeah, so those are the years in which the bonds were issued. So those are revenue bonds for different projects, where we borrowed money for stormwater.
But we actually, is that a payment?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
We did this year.
It's a payment on the loan. So I think we do twice a year interest and once a year principal, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to understand. Thanks.
Any other questions on stormwater? If not, let's go to fiber. Fiber's pretty simple. So, a motion's in order to approve all 4 sets of claims for both the months of April and May.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
Sign.
No, Anna's,
Okay, water distribution report.
All right, good afternoon. Pretty quiet May and April month for us here, wrapping up year-end stuff for the audit. And Jen, other than that, last week was our annual hydrant flushing week where our crew came in the middle of the night for 4 nights and flushed everything. All went well, a couple of dirty water calls, as expected, a couple of hydrants that are broken and repaired. And next week, our leak detection.
right? Maybe a.
Give or take, yeah. A break last week, whether it was because of the hydrants or not. And next week, our leak detection services come in and listen to all of our hydrants to try to detect leaks so we can repair anything that is broken. So that's about it on my end. Any questions on pumpage or water operations?
Looks fine. Questions? Okay, on to the awarding of the contract.
So after the initial, the only other contract we've awarded on this so far was the test well for well 12. And so this is the actual drilling of the production well. There was an opening, and we do these all electronic now. So we just have a Zoom meeting, and then the software that all the contractors log into to put their bids in, it kind of just, you open it up and you see it. So everybody who wants to can join the meeting and do it, and it avoids everybody traveling here. As you can see in the letter from Strand, this is the engineer's recommendation. So since we do have a consultant on this project, we always have them issue a kind of a letter of opinion here, and their recommendation is to award. We only had 1 bidder, but I did not expect more than 2.
Yeah.
So, and we've worked with municipal many times. They've done a lot of work for us, and this was actually a little less than the engineer's opinion of probable cost. So we're sitting on all angles here pretty good on this project to award the construction of the well itself for well 12 at $354,583. And I would ask, the one thing that wasn't written up in theirs, let me do the math here real quick. We always, as a process, include the contingency,
The 5%?
the 15, and that's a statutory thing.
Okay.
So if possible, I'd like to request approval for this project in an amount not to exceed $407,770, which includes 15%.
So the difference between those, this contract number and the number you just noted is for what?
It's the statutory maximum on change orders for a project, which we do on all projects. They still need, there's an administrative approval process, but on our annual streets projects, our reconstructions, we always do that because then it doesn't take the monthly cycle of a committee and then council to approve something above the, dollar amount of the award. We always run into small stuff. Very rarely does it go above 3 or 4 or 5% of the whole project. But that's why for years now we've been including the 15% just so that it's covered.
Can you give us a brief description of physically what's gonna happen when they're done with the work?
Yeah. So we're on the vacant lot that is due south of the house that we purchased. So remember, we purchased a home.
Yep, I do.
And a vacant lot. So this is actually the drilling and construction and production of a municipal well. So it'll be the pipe in the ground essentially. And then afterwards, we have another project bid that constructs the building over it and connects it to the well 4 treatment.
That's what I thought. That's why I asked the
Yep.
question.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, a motion to approve is in order.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
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 Pose same sign.
I did have another question.
Go ahead.
When do we expect this well to be finished? And then another question, when will it go online?
So I believe that probably somewhere between, I'm guessing, July and September. I think
It's drilled,
yeah,
probably.
for the well. And starting now essentially, because we have this, we're starting to work more kind of intensely on the design of what needs to happen in the well 4 building to connect this to it, change a little bit of the treatment. That will probably be something that's like a next year let, a 25 let, or late, or over winter, depending on how complex the design is, for construction starting sometime in 25.
So we won't be getting any water out of this new well?
Over a year,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
They'll do the test pumping on it as part of the part of this contract, but yeah.
So, do you know approximately when they'll start work on the drilling?
Yeah, that's what I think between July and September is probably most likely.
September?
Yep.
All right, on to the City Works upgrade.
This is a pretty straightforward one. We had this in capital, but if you recall, I kind of changed the capital document to not include all the past years. And so it wasn't on this year. Really what we're looking for is just to, keep this one going where we have some upgrades we need in the software we use for our work order management and inventory. Now, this dollar amount covers kind of whatever route we go, is the plan. But it's represented as covering the upgrade to have that happen through CityWorks, which is our current inventory and management system. So we may, we're kind of looking at our options right now. No matter what, it's not going to be a new software. It'll be in one of our existing softwares that we upgrade our capability to handle this. So we're just looking for reauthorization on that.
Motion's in order?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. Chris is not here for the sewage treatment operations. Are you gonna
Yeah, I mean,
substitute for him, or?
yeah, I certainly will. Everything's in order. Permit, requirements were met. We have a couple items after, or 1 or 2 items after this to talk through, but operationally pretty straightforward. But if you've got any questions, I will certainly field them.
Questions? If not, we'll go on to scope of services with Bonnie.
Yeah, so we have a number of things going on right now that are gonna need, engineering services. And, in section part 1 here, you'll see there's basically, 4 big tasks here. The 1 lift station, you recall a few years back, we did like 5 lift station reconstructions. It was a really good project. They're all working very well. So what we're wanting to do is add, these are the next 2 that need to be redone. Next 2 that need to be redone are items 1 and 2 there, under lift station bid package, and then the other 2 under wastewater treatment plant bid package involve the fact that there will actually be some construction, if you will, in the way of concrete work, work in our tanks over there at the treatment plant related to upgrading our UV disinfection and also on our final clarifiers. So you put those 4 things together and it's kind of a large body of work, and we wanted to put it all together so that we didn't end up with 4 separate contracts or something like that. So those are the 4 things: 2 lift stations, UV, and clarifiers. And then if we get to part 3, you'll see the total is $99,900, which ends up to be pretty much what we expected. Here's the 2 scopes right here: 60 for the 2 lift stations and 39 for the 2 items across the street.
So when they finish these 2, will we be done with all 5 of them then?
We did the 5 a couple years ago. This is 2 more.
Okay,
Out and about in the system, I believe we have 13 that are not associated with the plant across the street, maybe 12.
okay.
12 or 13. So we're working through the oldest ones. We'll be in real good shape with these 2. It'll be probably many years before we
Well, they replaced the one 2 summers ago in front of my house, and it's like beautiful. It's like, you wouldn't even know it's there.
And it's working far better too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
A motion to approve the amount of $99,900.
I'll move.
Second?
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Sign, motion carried. Okay, fine screen repair expenses.
Yeah, so, you'll see the memo here, but I'll summarize. On the influent side of the treatment plant, when we have the lowest point in our collection system, we pump all that water uphill to start the gravity process through the plant. So we have to lift it all the way up. And the very, very first treatment that the water gets is just a mechanical removal of things that are bigger than 3 millimeters. And those are called the fine screens. And there's these step screens, there's 2 channels, and all the way sort of goes through these they're little bar screens, but they're screens. And then every once in a while, when there's enough resistance because there's stuff caught there, they kind of step up and do this process where it does one of these things, and one of those channels is broken. And we have some parts to bring it back online, but it's minimal, and they're both the same age. We're looking at, oh geez, did he put the date in here? I think he did. These are quite old. Anyway, we need to order a bunch of parts to get those fully redundant back online. There's one in service right now and one out of service, and we're working on getting them both in service, kind of limping. But this is to replace the parts we need to repair those both, so they're both back in kind of like new working order.
It says the screens were installed 2005,
Yeah, I was gonna say 04, so
Yeah.
yep.
20 years.
So we're doing pretty good.
Is that something we do in-house for replacement, or do we contract?
Yeah, those parts I believe we plan on replacing in-house. Yep.
Motion to approve $34,060 is in order.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
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 Both same sign, motion carried. All right, compliance 2023, compliance, maintenance, and annual report.
Yep, this is one of our annual reports. This is the final grade sheet. This is a huge document. So at the end, as you'll remember, this is the one where every year we get a grade. So this is what's in your packet is there. It's pretty much what you see every year, and you'll see we got an A. So we're just bringing that to you. It's kind of weird, the process there. They want to know a data resolution. We don't do a resolution that is the usual municipal parliamentary procedure of, therefore, now be it declared type thing. So the resolution is the fact that our commission has seen this and taken it, put it on file type thing. So
Pretty hard to beat all A's.
all is good, I guess, is the,
So since we're the responsible commission for this report,
You
this
get-
is our grade.
yeah, you get an A, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yep,
You need an approval?
yes, please. Or to
For approval.
place on file, yeah.
Second?
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
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 Both same sign, motion carried. Construction and maintenance report, Shane.
Sure, good afternoon. So basically, for the collections department, the cup jet flush and televised schedule has continued as expected. Recently, since the weather has gotten nicer and concrete crews are up and running again, and the asphalt plant is running again, the storm crew has been making several catch basin repairs, and manhole repairs. And since the nicer weather, we've finished up on some of the last year's, restoration projects, like Pine Bluff is completed now, and some other small jobs that needed restorating. Like Eric stated, water crew has worked on a couple of water main breaks and broken hydrants. And if nobody's noticed, the South Side project is underway now. And the north side project is scheduled to start next couple of weeks. So,
And now you all know there's Coke Street.
yeah,
Yeah.
street, yeah.
There's even a question among the neighbors how it's pronounced. Is it Cook? Is it Coke?
Yeah.
We haven't come to it.
Yeah.
I was thinking that when I was driving down
Yeah.
it, so.
Yep.
And that was a struggle all by itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Shane, are you guys doing any, work on swales this spring?
We're looking at a couple of jobs for possibly the fall. Hopefully, in the next month or so, we're gonna put some, storm pipe in on the Industrial Park Drive. And after that, Woodland Street on the east side, north of Fleet Farm, is in need of some swaling.
Okay.
So those are the next couple of projects that we're looking at, probably get us through this year.
I was just asking because I was at, Metro Market the other day and I saw all the water in the pond and I said, oh yeah, I wonder how the swales are holding stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, there's always some spots to look at.
Do we replace streets without doing any swaling if it needs to be done?
Well, you know, our coordination with the city, typically, if the condition of the street is poor because of the water, we'll actually get in there prior to.
Okay,
Like, Pine Bluff is a good example of that.
Mhm.
And anything east of kind of like Wilshire Boulevard, you know, where it's rural cross-section a lot, there's a lot of roads that hold water because they're lower than everything else and there's no swales. So in those cases, we'll get in there ahead of time, or it'll be part of the contract where when they redo the road, the swales are graded out. So depending on the size and the condition, we make sure that they won't put a road back if it's gonna be the area where water's sitting at the end of it. So it'll be fixed one way or the other.
reason I asked is that I've been dropping my granddaughter off at Washington School and I go up that street and it's just deteriorating out from the sides. I mean,
Yep.
and I know now they won't do any replacement on it until after school's out, but
Yeah, and we're actually working in that area just to north on Jordan, getting some
Mhm.
stuff fixed up so that they can repave Jordan.
okay.
And we've put a lot of time into Wilshire as far as swaling in the years past.
Oh, yeah.
But when they redo that road, I hope they bring the road up a little,
Yeah,
help us out.
that would help out a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Any other questions for Shane? If not, let's go on to the rain garden report. This is something new.
Yeah, so a while back, I kind of mentioned it, and we have reports from 2023 activity, and they're here. Basically, in a conversation sometime last year with a former alder, I learned of a group that does public education and outreach efforts for the solid waste part of our community. So landfills, just like utilities, have regulatory requirements to make sure that we educate our public. And I confronted them. They're called Recycling Connections. They're right in town. In fact, the Mission Coffee House, you know, that little walkway that goes to the back. There's a couple of offices back there. They're back there. So we set up, we had a few conversations and got to the point where we just decided to work together, and for what was a very reasonable kind of total project cost, they coordinated the whole thing. And so public education and outreach is one of the requirements inside of our MS4 permit, which is also in this agenda. Illicit discharge detection and elimination, public education and outreach, there are all these boxes you need to check annually for this. Now, we do get to check a lot of them by participating in the North Central Wisconsin Stormwater Coalition. So everybody does education stuff and everybody takes credit for it. But we hadn't done anything like this right here in Point. So we sent out letters to the schools and said, if you're interested, you know, give us a listing of this. Who's going to be your staff representation? How are you going to work this with students? Respond back saying you're interested. And we got more schools than I thought. And so we ended up deciding to do 2 a year for 3 years. So these are the 2 reports from last year. You got Ben Franklin and Spash, and it gives a little summary of the plants that were used, how many students were involved, some site plan stuff, some drawings. If you get to the second one, it's kind of neat because that one shows a kind of a time lapse. Actually, let me get there. There's 4 pictures from July, September, I'm sorry, go up here, May, June, and then July and September, kind of neat. So they're an educational opportunity for students, not only the ones who help with it, but all the students at the school, and then in future years, it's also an educational tool. So those are just reports to kind of summarize what we're doing there, and to let you know that we have 2 more this year, Pods and I think McKinley, and then 2 more the year after, and then we'll probably move on to something else.
Well, that's great.
Was
Good idea.
parking lot runoff or roof runoff?
In the case of Spash, it's roof and walkway. You see the area here leading to the doors. Some of that just sheets off,
Okay.
but there were some roof drains that came into that area too. In the case of Ben Franklin, it was more driveway stuff. So
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a good experience for the students. All right, and then on to the 2023 MS4 annual report.
Yep, so this is our main stormwater report that we have to compile every year, and it is a little lengthy and not at all, like, I don't know, interesting to read. But it basically is where we check the boxes that I was talking about, say, what did you do this year, and things like that. So these are some of the programs, you know, illicit discharge detection elimination, post-construction program, all that kind of thing. We do inspections on sites, we permit sites, we educate people, we make sure that we respond to spills if they're reported, kind of all of that. And so in here, you tell them how you do what you did, and it's really an automated thing. That's why it's so tabular in nature. There's no real narrative part of this. It's check this and give a 250 character explanation if you want to, that kind of thing. And we record things like how many outfalls we have, how many did we inspect, do we have the ability to give warnings or no, and we do. We did 572 inspections and permitted 22 sites, stuff like that. So it's all very just statistic driven, but this is our MS4 annual report and just bringing it to you for essentially a review. It's already submitted.
Are you the one who has to fill in all this information, Joel?
Yeah. Yep. And we work with, this part here is we work with the streets department. They tell us how many tons of salt along with salt sand mixture. And there's a part in here to talk about street sweeping. So it does involve a little bit of other department info as well.
Is there a website that can kind of explain some of the terms? Because I was baffled when I just read a little bit and I said, oh, I don't understand this stuff.
Good question. The best source for that, honestly, is probably if you just go to Wisconsin DNR and type in stormwater. It'll give you all the pages associated with that, including municipal stuff and residential stuff and everything else. So they've got a lot of resources there.
And that wouldn't just be engineering language based, I could.
They do a pretty good job of
Okay.
kind of making it accessible to everybody, if you're curious, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
But if there's things in particular, let me know.
Oh, yeah.
We can chat, yeah.
No, I didn't get that far to find out if there was anything in particular.
Yeah.
We have to approve it, Joel?
Yeah, I think it's probably worth doing that, just for the sake of doing it.
Motion to approve is in order.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign. Motion carried. Joel, any director's report?
A couple items real quick. We have a scheduled closing for the Simona Street property. About 20 grand over asking. So the house we bought with the empty lot, already listed the house, and we have a thing that the buyer's got to sign to say, hey, we have a municipal project going on here. You know, you're not gonna object to that and stuff like that. You know what we're doing. So that house is scheduled to be sold later this month. It puts our total investment in the property we needed for well 12 at about 150,000, which
That's
is
a bargain.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
which is really just so nice that that lot was vacant and
Yep.
that we had a willing seller. So that's good.
What about the piping from the new well to the well for a building?
So
Public right of way?
no, in fact, we went we've got all of the signatures we need on an easement,
Oh,
that goes between the property we just purchased and well 4. That's one property owned by, Costa Bucky's. And we've been talking to them for a long time. Very cooperative, very nice people. I'm having to have one more signature by their bank, for the easement. And part of that is actually a right of first refusal on the purchase of the property as well. They understand the importance to the utility, and so they allowed us to get a right of first refusal on that for basically market,
okay.
rate at the time, as well as finally documenting an easement to cross their property, because we go down their driveway to get to well 4 as our second entrance, because the other one is that one that says do not enter off of Highway 10 by Hilltop, kind of on the other side of the street. And so everything's working out there. We'll be at Plan Commission there. The thing that, I guess there's kind of several documents all at once: the right of first refusal, the easement for the pipe, and the easement for the driveway. So those are all almost finished.
Okay, so at this point, we're not buying the property, just getting an easement from them,
Easement over.
2 easements?
Yep. The next couple days, Shane and Eric will be working with the 4th grade classes in the school district. We do Public Works Day just about every year now, right? I mean, it has been for the last several years, where streets department, transit, parks get involved.
They did.
Yeah. These two. We bring all of our public works type stuff together, and usually we host it here just because of the facility is probably a little more accommodating for it. And they bring busfuls of kids in, and they look at all the cool equipment. So that's going on the next couple days across the street here. And then I wanted to let you know that I think I mentioned it many months ago now, but I got to go to some presentations at the university where one of the forestry classes inventoried and discussed and presented on our Belusky property. So if you go straight north of Fleet Farm and where the road turns, that's utility property off to the north and west there. They took a look at it from a forest management perspective, because it's been quite a while since we did anything there. The pines that were planted there are ready for harvesting. And then the other areas are probably ready for some management of some sort. So they did a really nice job of that, and they're gonna give a formal kind of proposal on what they think we should do there. So I'll let you know that. If that works out well, we may just use that kind of approach on other lands that we manage. You know, you have Wellfield area and all that too. We get involved with Boy Scouts too, because they don't do it. So we'll say, hey, here's what was proposed. Do you want to do this type thing? So
Does it include the Boy Scout property?
yeah, this one did not. Yeah, this one did not. It was just the Wellfields.
Okay.
But future iterations likely will.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Okay, a motion to adjourn is in order.
I'll move to adjourn.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carried.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.